Good evening. I'd like to call the meeting to order 7:04. We can stand for a pledge of the flag and the moment.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here.
Ms. Gore?
Here.
Ms. Ferguson? Here. Mr. Kennedy?
Here.
Ms.
Here.
Warburger?
Here.
Ms. Flannery?
Here.
Ms. Wood? Here. 9 present.
Thank you. Board reports is the foundation report. I have foundation report. Kevin or anyone else?
No foundation report this week.
Thank you, Kevin. We're going to wait for programs to do that. We have a presentation this evening. So we're recording? Yeah. And student council, is anyone from student council this evening? Is there anyone from student council this evening? Doesn't look like it. Hopefully we can catch up next month in April for student council. Tonight we have a special presentation. The soccer teams are going to come and present to our principal and our AD. So if what we're going to do is the board's going to step out of the room for a moment. The girls and boys soccer team going to come in and present, and then we'll come back in and resume the meeting.
Coming board. That's great. Right in the middle.
Okay.
Probably need.
Hi, I'm Chris Knopf, boys soccer coach. I'm joined here with a special group of players, Coach Blair Gerlach, our principal Lindsay Roswag, our athletic director Scott Heinauer. First off, we had a terrific season, unbelievable season with both teams undefeated state champions with a combined record of 44-0, and I think it's mostly due to the players that you see behind me, so they deserve all the credit. It was a terrific group to work with, and we're told, I don't know if I can 100% verify this, but we're told that it's the first school in the Whitfield to go back-to-back boys and girls in the same sport in the same year. And I think that's a pretty amazing accomplishment. And a lot of thank yous to go around with the great support from our school, our athletic director, our board, our superintendent, and everyone involved. So thank you very much. And we have a special plaque to award to our board.
We'll take it over to them. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Duff, and thank you to all the students, players, and coaches here. It is an amazing accomplishment. As an alumni and soccer player myself, beyond proud of you, because I had nowhere near your level of talent, so great job. And thank you to the coaches as well, because for as many hours as the players put in, I know the coaches did the same, and wouldn't happen without all your hard work as well. So thank you. We will be sure to display this in our trophy case at the high school. So if you want to come see the giant Hershey bar, it will be with the state championship and Whitfield championship trophies in our trophy case in the high school. So thank you and congratulations.
Lindsay, could you have each of the students introduce themselves?
Absolutely. So we'll take a moment here just for each of the students that are present with us to introduce themselves. because you're really the stars of the show.
Okay, I'll start. I am Courtney Lisman. I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Alex King. I'm a senior.
Hi, I'm Gracie Dunaway. I'm also a senior.
I'm Caroline Robleski, and I'm a senior.
I'm Erin Rogers, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Samantha King, and I'm also a senior.
I'm Ellie Howell, and I'm a senior.
I'm Nabil Lalu, and I'm a senior.
I'm Ryan Pasco, I'm a senior. I'm Brady Nyhoff, I'm a senior.
Trent Wick, I'm a senior. I'm Dane Beller, I'm also a senior.
I would think that this senior class has probably some of the most winning records in our school history too. So congratulations on that as well, guys. Thank you, and I will be sure that the board gets to enjoy this during the meeting tonight. So thank you, everybody. All right, I think you guys are going to exit
Thank
stage
you.
left.
Easy.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Absolutely.
You make it easier to
The medals. Girls brought the plane. Girls brought the plane.
They do that. They do that. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it. See ya. Nice to see you. Thanks.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Oh, of course. I was looking at the mail anyway.
Well, that was an outstanding group of kids and coaches, so I really want to applaud them for they spent a little time to come in and let us appreciate them as much as we do. I don't know if we can top that. Then we want to public comment at this point, with agenda items. Is there any public comment at this point? On agenda item?
Hey, John, closed session.
Yeah, while I'm doing closed, while we're waiting to get public comment, we did have a closed session prior to this meeting, and it was legal and personnel, and we will have a very short one afterwards, the legal personnel also. Public comment, I see no public comment this evening for agenda items. We'll move on to the main agenda. And on the main agenda, under minutes, can I get a first and a second for the minutes of February 2nd, and February 9th?
Megan, so moved.
Sally, second.
So I have a first and a second. Board comment? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That passes. And on the main agenda, under personnel, agenda number 1, under personnel. Now you have a motion for 1 and 2 under agenda number 1.
So moved, Dale.
Second, Gordon.
So I have a first and second, any board discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Nay? That carries. Moving on to finance, we do have a presentation this evening from the Voc Tech, Mrs. Miller and Davey. Are they here this evening from the Voc Tech? I think they're coming virtually. Voc Tech, or Davey. So if you can raise your hand, Ms. Hiller, do the presentation for Voc Tech.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can, yes.
I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
Hi, how are you? Okay, I'll get on with it because I know you have a lot to do. So good evening. I'm Regina Heiler. I'm the director at the Butler County ABTS. I also have Mrs. Davis with me. She's our business manager. Thank you for the opportunity to present the 21-22 BCABTS budget this evening. In your individualized envelope that you have, it's in a manila envelope, you will see a proposed budget for 21-22, as well as a ballot for you to complete. If you wish to do so this evening after the presentation, please check yes, no, or abstain, and please complete the sections with your name, date, as well as your school district. If you would like to hand these to Mr. Marburger this evening, feel free. He did volunteer to collect them. Or if you need some time, you can mail them back to us in the self-addressed stamped envelope by March 29th, 2020, as on March 29th, 2021. That wouldn't have made sense. At our April 1st, 2021 JOC meeting, we will open the ballots in person. So if you have the budget in front of you, if you look at the first page, I'm going to go over different sections with you. I'm not going to do the whole thing, so we'll be here forever. On page 1, you'll see 3 areas: total operating budget with budgetary reserve, and participating school districts operating budget payments. I'd like to first draw your attention to the first section, total operating budget. The proposed budget for 21-22 is $6,075,289 with an increase of $122,810. I would like to draw your attention to the second section next. In this section, there's a $30,000 budgetary reserve in place. Our budgetary reserve is in place for unplanned events. The districts are not billed for this unless, of course, there's an event as such. The third section is the sending school district payments. You will see a total increase of $109,369. I'm going to move on to the next page, which is page 2. On page 2, you'll see the summary of the budget by object code. Again, object 000 is the budgetary reserve that I just mentioned in section 2 on page 1. Object 100 includes salaries with an increase of 55716. The descriptor in the notes give more detail. Salaries increased primarily due to contract wage increases for employees covered under the teacher's contract. Contract wage increases equate to base salary increases of 46,000. Object 200 includes employee benefits and has an increase of 53195. PCER's employer contributions, medical, dental, vision, life insurances, they're projected to increase 5% from current year premiums. Also, there's vision and life insurances are on rate holds, and PCER's employer contribution rate is increasing just slightly. You will then see the salaries and benefits comprise of approximately 76% of our budget, as you know, which is typical of a budget, and that's a total of $108,911. This is a large amount of the proposed overall increase of $122,810, and this also includes all of our employees, including substitute teachers. Object 300 is purchase professional and technical services. There's a slight decrease of 195. This object code includes budgeted expenditures for costs such as Skyward services, which is our student information system, solicitor fees, audit services, network engineer services, building out the school's network. Object 400, which is purchase property services, there's a slight increase of 8744. This project, I'll back up. This includes projected insurance. I apologize. This includes maintenance agreements and repair on equipment as well as inspections, sprinkler, elevator, water. Cost projected increase primarily due to school vehicle repairs though. Object 500, other purchase services, we have a decrease of 17,540. This is projected insurance premiums, general liability, property, auto, advertising, and travel. This decrease to the object code is largely attributed to a decrease in estimated persons expenditures, and I will address that further on page 3. Object 600 includes projected expenditures for vocational programs such as supplies, textbooks, software, licensing, etc. We do have a decrease of $6,000. And object 700, equipment, we have an increase of 27500. And this increase is due to the needed instructional equipment, replacement of video surveillance server, entrance doors, and replacement of our PA system, which could be quite an expense. Object 800 are other funds. I will explain further on page 3. So if you go to page 3, on the top right, we're going to jump around this. Top right portion of the page, you'll see the anticipated revenues. In this section, Social Security, retirement, and interest are all standard. The state reimburses us 50%. I'd like to draw your attention to the adult evening amount of 3,501. This is funded through our tuition of students. That's not covered by if the cost is not covered by tuition, adult ed generally doesn't run. So I'd like to draw your attention to the Perkins portion also. The amount of approximately 260,356 is our allocation for the current school year. Perkins funding for the 21-22 school year is not available at this time. So we use the current school year's allocation for next year's budget. Again, this is not billed to you. However, it's included in our budget as part of our operation, so you should see it. If you quickly flip to page 5, you'll see in the description category, it shows adult evening and Perkins expenses. You will see that. If you add this up, you will see dollar for dollar, these expenses add up to the amount on page 3 as revenue. On the top left, again on page 3, you will see the average daily membership for the prior 3 years. According to our articles of agreement at BCABTS, we bill the participating districts based on the total 3-year ADM, which is our average daily membership. When we move to page 4, I will show you the impact of this on your decrease. The bottom left on page 3, this is the 2019 state assessed values that come from the State Tax Equalization Board. The 1920 instructional time memberships reports come from your child accounting reports. And then on the bottom right, it's the 2021 estimated secondary CTE, which is career and tech ed subsidy. These percentages are used for estimating operating budget payments. We'll talk about that on page 4. So if you go to page 4, the top portion is the 21-22 school year, or the bottom is the current year. The first column is the operating budget on the top portion. The first column that has numbers, not the ones with the schools. The first column is the operating budget less the revenues that we just explained to you on the prior page. Then we deduct the state adjustment. We then add the equipment back in over the breakpoint. For you, when we come to an amount of 220,561 for 21-22, this is a decrease of 23,293 from this school year. To recap, the total operating budget payment increase for 21-22 is 109,369 for the districts. Beyond this, on pages 5 through 10, it explains much further details with the budget. I could talk for another hour, but I know you have other things to do. But if you have any questions or concerns, I'm here, as well as Mrs. Davis, because I did go very quickly, but I'm doing that out of respect for what you have going on. Any questions or concerns on any part of this budget?
Does the board have any questions?
I wish we were seeing that our contribution was going up because more of our students were attending VOTEC. I would love to see us try to get more of our kids to go there.
I agree with you, and we do have a plan for, how do I say this, a tentative plan for this summer that I didn't even talk to Mrs. Davis about yet. So she's probably thinking, how much is this going to cost? But we have some ideas to do some fun things this summer. I literally just brainstormed and spoke to someone about this today within the school. And we want to get the students and parents to be able to actually see the school. So I think when parents see what's at the school and what you can gain, I think that's a big selling point. I think students need convinced a little bit too. Not that we think every single kid should say, yeah, I want to go to the VOTEC, but I do believe there are more students who could take advantage of it from your school. 100%. So we have some ideas.
I will say at our board meetings, we've had a lot of feedback from students that because they can only attend the afternoon session and it makes it difficult for activities or sports for them to participate in at Mars. Just some feedback we've gotten from kids here.
Yeah, I remember that at the last JOC meeting that I came with, board meeting with Mr. Spiker. And I believe that I was in communication with your principal after, And I have to reflect back and see where we went with that. And it could have been with the pandemic. Not that we need to use that as an excuse, but we were looking at doing some different things and they're not locked in there. It seems that was always what it was. And we're not saying that we can't look into different ideas. We'll work with students. We will.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Any other board questions? Comments? Do we take action on this tonight, or we just take action via the back ballot?
We take it as a whole. If people.
Okay, it's on.
I apologize. Did somebody ask me a question I couldn't hear?
That's on our agenda. I just was trying to figure out when we go on.
Basically, John, there's two votes. One as a whole, where I think 4 out of the 7 school districts as a whole have to approve it. And then the individuals, that's just a, majority vote of the individual school board directors. So it's like 2 separate votes.
Mrs. Davis, can you hear a little bit better than me? Maybe pick up and see. I apologize.
Mr. Marburger was just elaborating that our has to be approved in 2 different ways. Mr. Marburger noted that as a school, as a whole, you have to vote on it. And our articles of agreement actually require 5 schools to approve it. And then in addition to that, each board member needs to cast their vote on the ballot that has been provided.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, so we'll take action on number 13 now. So under finance number 13, can I get a first and a second? So moved. Board.
Megan, second.
Any board discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Aye.
So that budget will pass, but we will also carry our ballots over to Gordon. We'll carry those for him.
Thank you so much.
We do have all 8 already, sir. 1 was mailed and 8 are on my desk. So.
Oh, Mr. Marburger, we love you. Thank you. We appreciate you very much at Mars. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Moving on to finance on the main agenda, numbers 1 through 12, and then 14 and 15. Okay, first and second.
Anthony first.
Gordon second.
So I have a first and second. Any board discussion? Hearing none, so all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. Under programs, we come to the calendar. Dr. Chris, do you want to present a brief calendar?
Sure. Before you vote, we're asking for the adoption of 2022 Mars Secondary School calendar as presented. The calendar generally speaking, it starts on the 19th of August with teacher induction. That would be our kickoff, followed by 3 days of in-service days with the first student day being Wednesday, August 25th. And if you look at the calendar, there's 9 different in-service days and 4 activity days that are also embedded. Very typical work as far as the calendar. We have the Thanksgiving break, the Christmas break. And as far as some important things to note, the parent conference days are tentatively scheduled for November 11th to 12th and March 21st for K through 8. If you look on there, you'll also see the end of the grading periods. The senior prom, another highlight would be May 13th, would be scheduled there. Graduation being May 26th. So May 26th would be the last student day, and graduation would be the 26th. So for students, it would start the 25th of August, and you would end May 26th. We also have a note, if you see in red on the calendar, this will be posted to the website once it's approved. It says all snow days will be considered remote learning days. If you remember in the past, we used to have what was called flexible instructional days, that the state would grant so many days a year for you to try to make up days for your snow days. But since the pandemic started, we have the technology, we're going to continue to recommend that our snow days be remote learning days and not necessarily use the word, it's not necessarily a word, but the acronym FIDS. So we're getting away from FIDS, but all snows would be considered remote learning days. Now, we were on a conference call with PVD about 2 weeks ago, and the question came up about this very issue. You used to apply for FIDS days. Can we continue to use remote learning days? So as of now, the answer to that is yes. As long as you can deliver instruction, you can use remote learning. But just like anything else, as this pandemic continues to move through and hopefully we'll come to some type of closure, there may be a point where I have to come back to the board and go through the old process of requesting FIDS days. But for right now, we're not doing it. So that's noted on the bottom of the calendar. So again, the first day would be 25th for students, last day is 26th of May. Teachers would actually start, new teachers on the 19th of August. The rest of the teachers will start the 20th of August, with the last day being the 27th of May. Thank you, Dr. Burst, for teachers.
So under programs, can I have a first and a second? Number one.
Christine first.
Megan second.
And board discussion? We're excited about moving on to next year's calendar. Hope it's a great year. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? So that passes. Under policies, on the main agenda, number one, can I have a first and a second?
Dale, so moved.
Charlie second.
So I have a first and a second. Any board discussion?
Dr. Gers, can you clarify? Last week I know we had some questions about, these aren't Mars Area School District policies. It's like for the IU that were part of their LAA, correct?
Yeah, the policies that you're seeing there, they are intermediate unit policies, and the intermediate units are the intermediary, for lack of a better word, between school districts and PDE for many things, most importantly special education. So we are one of their districts, the Midwestern IU districts, and they are asking us to approve those policies. And they are not Mars area specific, but they basically parallel legal requirements.
Any other board discussion or comments? On the main agenda, under policies number one, I have a first and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. On the main agenda, under buildings and grounds, numbers 1 through 4. Have a first and second.
Megan, so moved.
Board and second. So I have a first and a second. Any board discussion or comments?
I would just mention that, the Burmac, this is Dale, I don't know if you can hear me, but, the Burmac commercial roofing bid was the low bid. We did have 3 bidders, and the winning bid amount was $381,579.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. Any other board discussion or comments?
I believe this is a vendor that we have used before and are experienced working with
Correct.
in the past. So
So under buildings and grounds, I have 1 through 4, I have a first and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? So that carries. On the main agenda, under others, numbers 1 through 5. Have a first and second.
So moved, Dale.
Megan, second.
I have a first and a second. Any board discussion or comments?
I'm excited to see we're having an internship program. The way it reads, I'm thinking, we're going to get some extra help and it doesn't cost us as much money, even thank you to our staff, because I'm sure sometimes it's more work for them to have somebody else to teach, but we appreciate it.
Great. Any other board questions or comments? So under, remains under auto, almost 1 through 5. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? That carries. So we're on to public comment this evening. We'll have the next 30 minutes for public comment. Does anyone wish to have public comment at this point?
Oh, look, you can see the alien.
So does anyone have public comment this evening? So it looks like Amber Rush, you'll have 3 minutes to state your name and your address.
All right, Amber Rush, 112 Justice Drive, Valencia, PA, 16059. Good evening. As you may know, we have a child that struggled when he entered kindergarten in the district. Due to the challenges, it was more like a never-ending battle. To get him the support he needed from his reading disability, we removed him from the district. As a result, he's now growing leaps and bounds being taught using a research-based program for students with dyslexia. We are already nervous for the start of our school year, as our daughter will be starting kindergarten and has all the early signs of a child with dyslexia. We are already doing exercises with her using a dyslexia program at home. What happens to her when she arrives to you in the fall? Do we wait and see it? Do we do the wait and see approach and cross our fingers that she meets the district's target for Title I? Of course, Title I services are not based on any multisensory approach to reading that is needed for students with dyslexia. We hear bits and pieces that the district is looking to purchase the Sunday program, but there's absolutely nothing available for our children or any other children in the district with dyslexia. Why should we send our children to Mars when we know there are other places that they can go and be provided with what they need without us having to continuously push for her to get help like we had to for our son? All children deserve to have what they need to become readers. As board members and district leaders, it's your responsibility to make that happen. I'm asking you for the 3rd year in a row that we do what's right. I mean, we're in a district that has known what it needs and we haven't done it. So I'm asking you to please, this year in your budget, look at what we have and let's move forward. We already identified kids in the district that didn't receive what they needed last year, and we need to do better. So I'm asking you, let's do better and not embarrass the district, but make parents and children proud and allow them to reach their lifelong goals and potential for reading. And we also need to touch on MTSS programs and lack of in both reading and math. So I would really, like Heather had mentioned at a few board meetings ago, like to have program updates to the community so we can understand what we have, because we were given a document years ago that doesn't seem very valid anymore. And another thing is, how are contracts going with support staff and other members? Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. Maybe I won't turn off. Sorry. Moving on to public comment. Dixon?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Great.
So just give your name, your address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Great, thank you so much. My name is Natasha Dixon, and I live at 576 Evergreen Court.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Well, the reason that I'm calling tonight is because I know that our community still has a lot of work to do, and I don't want us to lose momentum as we work to make sure that our district is the best that it can be, which I truly believe we all want. I'll admit it was nice to sit back and relax for a few days or weeks after the teacher's contract was successfully negotiated. In addition to the contract being settled, there were some really positive interactions in that last meeting and some honesty and hopefully very genuine remarks. It had a, as I call it, very feel-good feeling to it. You can tell I'm a kindergarten teacher, but it was really nice to soak up those feelings and have a little sigh of relief, as I'm sure most people in the room can understand. But I'm calling because I know that some of the problems that kind of brought our district to this point still exist. Some budget concerns that obviously still worry me greatly, as I know we really in this community are opposed to raising taxes really, but also we don't want to see cuts to our programs and staff. And it is a very difficult position and something we have to work through as a growing district. But I'm also very concerned, as Amber just mentioned, that even though the teachers have a contract, that the secretaries and custodians and paraprofessionals do not. I'm sure everyone in that room knows that it is difficult to find people that work as hard as your secretaries and custodians and the paraprofessionals that are in special education. They have some of the toughest jobs in the building for sure. But lastly, I'm speaking as a parent who's actually going to be very honest here and sadly on the fence about staying in Mars or moving to a nearby district. And we just came here 3 years ago. We wanted this to be where our kids would graduate, but I'm nervous. And I guess you could say I'm almost desperately hopeful to hear about what Mars is planning to do to be able to keep programs that are, I want to say, competitive with other districts, but just at an equal playing field of what's being offered around us. And also just in accordance with the most current educational research and evidence-based practices. Amber had mentioned that a few meetings ago, it was suggested that maybe we could have a monthly program presentation. And so I know at that time we were more focused on the contract, but I just wanted to get back to that because I feel like if our board or administrators or teachers or anyone who has the knowledge of what's available and what's coming in the future and what we're working towards could kind of highlight those things for people like me in the community, but not only highlight the selling points of what's going on, but hopefully want to encourage people to come back to the district, people who have left. I am definitely most interested in learning more about the MTSS programs that are in place right now. There is a lot of information circulating in the community about things that perhaps are less than ideal, lack of resources and data collection and intervention services being provided. But, and obviously for legal and ethical reasons, it's a concern. But of course, also just because we want to be in a district where we know kids are going to be first no matter what. And so I'm asking tonight that moving forward as we emerge now with the contract settled and, hopefully COVID concerns, hopefully starting to diminish, that can really be a focus moving forward to help people like me. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. Anyone else wish to do public comment at this point? Heather Ray Bolt.
Hi, good evening. My name is Heather Raybold, and my address is 604 Valencia Road in Mars.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. So before I get started, just a quick suggestion. In the future, if there's any way whoever is running your computer with the Zoom that's identified as the Mars Area School District stream, when a presenter is presenting, if you could even share your screen, so when, say, Dr. Gross is presenting the calendar, us at home, we can take a look at what it is these folks are talking about, just to help us be a little bit more engaged and in the discussion that's happening. That would have been helpful with the budget presentation earlier too. So just a quick suggestion before I just want to come back to, a couple of months ago, the district was very clear about the financial hit that it took with so many families choosing to transfer out to a cyber program as a result of COVID. And I don't know if you've seen, but North Hills announced this week that they were ending their contract with Acceleration Education, and they are going to be offering virtual learning K to 12. It'll be done by their own teachers using their own curriculum. And I just wanted to see if Mars has made any steps in developing our own cyber program that would be taught by our own teachers using our own curriculum, and any updates that there could be as far as that goes. I'm sure there's a lot of families out there that were sent the survey and responded that if Mars had something that was a little more reputable than the Mars cyber program, that they would absolutely be returning their child to the district. So I appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? Like Mason, Greg Mason?
Can you guys hear me?
We can. Just say your name and address and you'll have 3 minutes.
All right, Greg Mason, 206 Cups Drive, Valencia, PA 16059. First off, I wanted to thank everybody for getting a contract for our teachers. I think that's only bodes well for our district in terms of labor peace and normalcy, I guess. Hopefully we can do the same with our para and support staff as well. Also, I could not agree more with what Heather Rabel just said about sharing the screen. Another option, if the person who's running the computer doesn't know how to share a screen, you can always post those PDF items prior to the meeting, because it is really hard to follow along without seeing it as well. So I hope we can work on that in the future. Do you guys believe you can do better in that regard if you have addendum items like that you're going to be discussing at length?
We do have our technology director here tonight. He's running our technology analytics.
All right. It's still a little hard to hear. It's slightly better, but it's still very difficult to hear. I don't know if the tech person can ever listen to what this sounds like on the other end, but it's usually difficult. Next question I did want to ask is, and I don't know who can answer this for me, but who is our Title IX coordinator at Mars? Dr. Gross, would you happen to know that?
Mr. Stephen. Is that good? Is it? I'm just going to say that I didn't want to misspeak. Yes, it's Mr. Dale Sleva.
I couldn't hear. I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
Yeah, Mr. Dale Sleva, the assistant principal of the high school.
All right. And just to give you guys a heads up, effective on August 14th of 2020, all the Title IX coordinator information, the school's non-discrimination policy, and the training materials used to train the Title IX personnel is supposed to be posted on the school website. Is it posted? Because I could not locate that anywhere.
Don't know, but if it isn't, it will be.
Wonderful. Sounds great.
I agree. It should be there.
Yeah, every other district in the Western Pennsylvania, as far as I know, has it. I don't know why we're not in sync with that. Also, I could have sworn last meeting that I was able to make, that was mid-February. Dr. Gross, you and I talked about the rationale behind posting the salary of every teacher, every paraprofessional hired, and their benefits. And you said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you believe if it's taxpayer money, it should be posted, and I couldn't agree more with you. Tonight, you guys just approved things such as, let's see here, the MAC commercial roofing bid for Mars Area Primary Center, service agreements, some lease agreements. Why is the money not attached to those in the agenda?
2 seconds.
Because I think that would go a long way of transparency and communication within the district. Because on the addendum item, you did list the paraprofessionals, secretary, I believe, benefits and salary, but you failed to do that for the roof replacement project and the service agreement with UPMC Western Psych.
I think we were at this point posting the salaries of current coming employees. We did not post anything.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kenny, I couldn't hear you over the alarm.
Yeah, but we've been posting the salaries of the incoming employees, and we've been posting. We'll take into consideration and posting of it.
Mr. Knapp,
Before we took action, Dale did give the total amount of the bid for Burbank.
I'm happy to repeat it.
I couldn't hear that if she did.
I have this mask on. I did repeat the low bid amount for the roof. Could you not hear me, sir?
No, but I'm talking about the lease agreements, the service agreements as well. I must have misheard or did not hear that.
The lease agreements are not financial in nature, they're more operational. So there's no money attached to that, but I'd be more than happy to repeat the low bid amount for the roofing bid. It was the low bid, and just for clarity, I will repeat it again. The low bid went to Burmac Commercial Roofing. There were 3 bidders. The low bid amount was $381,579.
All right, thank you. And again, just with the times of technology, and it's difficult to hear. I think a lot of this, if it was in writing, would be a lot better, and it'd probably save you guys some questions from me if I could actually see it during the meeting or even prior to the meeting when you release the agenda. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
I feel like I'm talking really loud when I'm under this shield, but maybe it's not as loud as I think that it is.
Yeah, I can hear you fine now, but yeah, prior is really difficult.
Temporarily took it off. I'm going to put it back on now and not talk anymore.
just 2 quick questions. Mr. Knapp, is there any legal reason why we couldn't post the dollar amount attached to other things as well?
It's up to the board.
Oh, okay.
Legal reason why we need it.
Okay. And then just to defend Mr. Morgan here, our tech director, I think a lot of this information he doesn't necessarily have, right? Like the calendar is not posted online yet. It was given to us on our board report, correct? So the reason that Mr. Morgan didn't share it was necessarily he probably didn't have the information or the village tech budget. Is that correct, Ms. Morgan? Yeah. So that's something we can certainly discuss as a board moving forward, is having him have the ability to show it while we present it. But it's certainly not lack of knowledge, lack of capability, or lack of ability. Just simply he doesn't have the information to present.
Anyone else wish for public comment this evening? Julie.
Hi, yes, it's Julia Knitsky, 2006 Maxwell Lane. Can you hear me?
Yes, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to kind of echo what everybody's been saying about this horrible audio quality. Literally, I have friends of mine texting, can you hear them? Is there any way we can get back to in-person meetings for those that really are involved, and also maybe find a way to either live stream them as they're going, not in this fashion? Like, when are we going to go back to in-person meetings? I'm just curious. And my other question is on what Heather and Amber and I always try to touch upon, is the district promise of adopting MTSS. On 10/19/2018, I got an email that said we were adopting K through 12 MTSS for our district. And I was just curious if someone can tell me our tier 1 intervention for math and reading in the high school that's research-based for math and reading. Because I've had a couple of parents ask me what we're doing in the high school, and I don't even know what to say. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else wish to speak in public comment at this point? That has not already spoken? Does anyone else wish to public comment that has not already spoken? So at this time, I'll let Amber Rush go again. She went earlier, so you'll have the opportunity.
Yes, Amber Rush, 112 Justice Drive, Valencia, PA, 16059. When Greg asked about having the Title IX updated on the website, it reminded me that I wanted to ask for maybe the second or third time about Title I parent complaint procedures. They're supposed to be listed online and they're not. So as a parent with a concern with Title I have no way to do my complaint procedure other than going to Dr. Gross, which I've done, And also I've reached out to Sally Wick and explained it, but I haven't been given a chance to put all my concerns as a parent advocate for all kids in this district in front of the board. So can we get that complaint process online?
Yeah, I don't see any reason.
Dr. Dredd said he can't see why not.
Yeah, no, we had talked about that before. I thought that was rectified, but if you're saying you're still not finding it, I will.
Correct. And I talked to Susan McCrone about it, which is Aaron's boss and Lynn Cavella's boss. I've gone over a few concerns that I haven't gotten replies from the district about. So
we met with PDE twice because of your complaints. And they dismissed your complaints last week and they dismissed them again today. And they will be getting back to you. They said that whatever information you are receiving is not accurate. So as you know, you and I have been involved in at least 2 to 3 different meetings with your complaints. I've tried to answer those to the best of my ability. You continue to ask questions. You went to PDE. We discussed with PDE. They cleared us. You escalated it, went to PDE again, and we met with them again today, and they dismissed it again today. So they should be in correspondence with you shortly.
okay. So can you tell me what Cindy McCall does for Title I? What programs she actually?
I'm not going to speak about individuals. I can tell you that your complaints were handled and fielded by PDE at 2 different occasions, and they dismissed both of those after investigating us twice within the month.
Okay, they don't investigate. They just look for compliance, but okay. So I'll wait for Lynn or Susan or Aaron to get back to me.
And I use the word investigate because they said they must investigate all complaints. So that was their commentary.
Yeah, they're more compliance. They're not investigators. There's other people that investigate. Okay. So I would like the form online because it's supposed to be online.
All right, thank you. So still have some time for public comment. We start at 7:33, so we still have time for a couple more. So Julie Kaminsky's back for round 2.
Hi, I'm sorry. Julia Knitsky, 2006 Maxwell Lane. So I didn't get an answer to any of my questions whenever I spoke. I wasn't sure if I was going to, you had just said thank you about if we were going to go back to in-person meetings was the first thing. And also what tier 1 research-based intervention do we do in reading and math in the high school? Do you have an answer for that today, or should I expect maybe an email or an update?
They'll try to give you an update on our questions and answer on the website.
On the website?
As far as in person, I don't know the time frame when we'll go back to that. Hopefully someday soon we get back to in-person meetings.
Right.
Is the 15% capacity that we're able to utilize for sports apply to this? Like, how does that?
Yeah, we're still at 15% capacity wherever we hold on meetings. We're moderate. We're substantial as 10. We're at 15 now. So hopefully as soon as we have a space that accommodates additional folks, we can do that.
So the LGI room, where that wasn't ever a space?
Yeah, it could be. I don't know if I'm just being honest, I don't know what the capacity is in there, but I have to see what the total number is. And I'm not sure. Unfortunately, I came into a COVID environment. I'm not real sure how well attended the meetings were in the LGI, but we can talk about that and see whether we think we can.
And we would have to also talk to the tech people as well, correct? Because we would still be live streaming since it's only 15% capacity. So we could only pick a space, correct, that we could also utilize the live stream and gearing and all of those.
Even if
But we've had Facebook Live in there before, and it's been better audio. And I just had one more question. The PA Department of Health officially adopted the CDC guidelines for quarantine on December 4th, I believe, 2020, when the CDC updated their quarantine. The PA Department of Health did as well. And I know some school districts haven't updated their plans, but I'm going through a crisis quarantine right now with my children who have now, after this week, it'll be 21 days that they've been quarantined. They're both special education students. It's been very difficult. I literally, this is not a learning environment. And I just want to know why Mars isn't following the guidelines that are the most recent now, why we haven't changed our policies, because for people like me who are struggling right now, it's quite impossible. And I know I've seen comments just today on Facebook about why we're not doing that. Do you know why?
Yeah, I can say that the guidance CDC put forth, PD and the Department of Health, they basically said that you can minimize those, and I don't quote me, but I believe it was like 10 and 7, and we're at 10 and 14. However, their guidance ends by saying, however, the safest quarantine at this time continues to be 14 days. There are schools now that we've backed out of substantial into moderate. I was on a chat with some superintendents today. Some of us are continuing with the 14 days, but there are some other districts that are starting to consider the CDC. The reason I have not is because I sort of look at things through a legal lens. So when it's in writing that says the safest quarantine remains at 14 days, and that's actually exactly how it's written to us. We've stated that because our number one responsibility under the school code is health, safety, and welfare of students. So the fact that it's in writing saying the safest continues to be 14, we've stuck with that. Some schools are starting to consider different things, as I think it's time we take a look at that now that we're out of substantial movement towards moderate vaccines and things that come in. So that's why we remain at the 14, and I won't say the district because I certainly don't want to out them. We did have a district that brought somebody back under the new CDC guidelines, only to about the 11th or 12th day, ended up developing their symptoms. So ended up having to send that person home. So the reason it continues to say the safest is because that 14-day period is still
I think, yes.
a point of time where someone can become ill. So we've taken the safest route. We haven't taken the most convenient route. We've taken the safest route. But now that things are starting to back down a little bit, I know other districts are starting to take a look and make decisions. If we make recommendations, take that.
When you guys started.
Okay, maybe in consideration would be, at least for now, a negative test could take them out of quarantine. At least you have the black and white medical, test result. Because I know now you cannot, a negative test result will not shorten the quarantine in our rules, and even the Department of Health had said that. But
the analogy I was giving, there was a district where they accepted someone back with a negative test.
Okay.
Only for the person to become symptomatic and become positive.
I see.
So
okay, I'm sorry, my son was talking too.
No, that's okay. Believe me, if there's any way in this world we could reduce quarantines and get people to school, believe me, I get it, especially with certain populations of students. But right now, with the language saying it's the safest, I'm continuing to recommend we stay with the safest.
Okay, thank you for answering that, because I was curious. And thank you for the extra time, Mr. Kennedy. I'm sorry. I'm done.
Thank you.
Silly, you had a comment?
The quickest question, I wasn't here last week, so I may have missed this, but were we able to share, because we had 2 people in our comment on our sound. We had taken all of everyone's comments into consideration, and we had our IT person went out and purchased new equipment. So we have brand new equipment last week and this week that should be helpful. We have tried to accommodate so that people can hear until we can get back to public meetings. We took that in consideration, and our IT person got the best you can get in the situation that we're in. And I just want to make sure people are aware. I didn't know if it was announced last week or not. So I want to make sure they understand we're doing the best that we can and did that purposely to help.
Yeah, I would say nobody is any more than 10 feet from a microphone. The problem is when you have a mask on, it's still not going to sound very good. And in Dale's case, she made comments with the mask on. Nobody can hear her. She took it off and they can. But we're following the guidance and we're wearing the masks and it affects the audio.
And if you happen to get the mask cord wrapped around your shoe and need your foot and it falls on the floor, it might affect the ability to hear out of this particular one.
We have more time for one more public comment. It looks like Craig Mason's back for round two.
Thank you much. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you have 3 minutes and you'll be our last public comment.
All right. To piggyback on what Natasha, I believe Dickinson said earlier, in terms of moving this district forward, last summer we cut the curriculum director, or I guess the curriculum department, if you will. I'm not sure who's handling those duties right now. But I think if we want to move forward in terms of having a better MTSS system in place, we should probably look into, do we have plans next year? I don't know what our budget's going to look like. I don't know if you guys do either. Do we have plans to actually look into curriculum department or, personnel, I guess? Are there any plans on the table? Is that being discussed?
We've discussed, Mr. Mason, we've discussed plans for curriculum. This year, we intentionally, because people were so overwhelmed with COVID and the technology. And
Yeah, I understand this year. That's why I'm specifically asking for next year.
Yeah, we absolutely have plans for next year. We actually talked about our cycle, how that's going to work. I have former experience, 8 years of it in curriculum development. So some districts have curriculum departments. I was never fortunate to have a curriculum department. So some have curriculum departments and others do not. However, curriculum, as you know, always has to get done. So yeah, we definitely have plans to continue with curriculum moving forward. That involves teachers, part of the mapping, writing process, common assessments, resource selection. We just did a 1-year delay because of the COVID crisis.
All right, that's good to hear. Also earlier, Dr. Gross, I'm glad you said you like to take the safest route in terms of COVID. And here's hoping that the numbers continue to drop and the vaccines work, and this is a moot point come next August 25th on the start of school. However, when will Mars Area School District, in terms of parents making decisions on cyber charter schools, if we're trying to get them back, some parents made that decision because of their concern in terms of the follow through with Mars in terms of COVID safety and protocol. When is Mars, can you say a date or a month, I guess, at this point when you plan on kind of saying, here's our plan for next year in terms of whether LSI is going to be available, whether masks will be worn or not worn?
Yeah, I can tell you that we have a committee that we're in the process of forming. We have not formed it yet, to be quite honest, that the association will be involved in. I've been going around to different schools with pockets of teachers. I met with high school teachers in 2 different meetings yesterday and basically trying to get everybody prepared. Mr. Kraft's been extremely cooperative. I know the association is extremely energetic to have conversation not only about LSI, but I think it's safe to say with LSI, we have to build in greater structures and guidelines and parameters. So has a little more structure to it. I'd say a lot more structure to it. Rules, regulations, and as far as cyber charter, the association is very interested in having those conversations with us and moving forward on what that looks like, building that with Mars area teachers doing that. I think I would be absolutely misleading the public to say we're going to have a brand new cyber charter option in the fall. The last district, it took me probably a year of planning until we actually got it off the ground, and the district before that was probably the same. My understanding in talking to the association members is that this process was started before my time years ago and somewhat halted. So I think we're a little bit ahead of the, we're out of the gate a little quicker than maybe I've been in my past life, but definitely 2 areas that we need to hone in on.
All right. Thank you very much for the time. I appreciate it. Have a good evening, everybody.
So that concludes our public comment. Thank you. Is there MAEA? Mrs. Dubinsky, are you out there? Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me? This is Sharon Lipnicki.
Yes.
Thank you. We would just like to take the time again to congratulate our girls and boys soccer team, the players and coaches on their state championship. Your teachers past and present are so proud of you. We'd also like to wish our senior players the best of luck as they move on from Mars. We also are wishing for the best for our paraprofessionals, secretaries, and custodians as they continue to bargain for a fair contract. Please keep in mind that their dedication to our students does not go unnoticed. They are definitely a necessary part of educating our students in Mars. Thank you so much for your time and have a good evening.
Thank you. Have a good evening. Administration, Dr. Gross.
Yeah, I just want to provide everyone with one update. As you know, the educational staff and anyone involved in our district is now eligible for vaccines. We surveyed our staff. What we thought would be, when I say staff, I'm talking subcontractors from folks working in the cafeteria to paraprofessionals, to professional staff, basically anybody associated with a district that works with students on any given day. We surveyed them probably a little over a week ago. It would be interested in the vaccine because everyone is now eligible for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. When we did that survey, we had over 200 individuals, which we did not have the necessary allocation. So what we thought was we would have around 1 and then around 2, but I'm happy to report that yesterday, with the help of many superintendents working together, the Mars Area School District, for example, we were not allocated enough to get everybody vaccinated in the first round. However, due to vaccines being delegated to other districts that went unused, we were able to utilize their vaccines and get everybody signed up. So the process right now is everybody in the district that has requested a vaccine will be getting an email. I got correspondence today around 4 o'clock that said it will be between 24 and 48 hours. They'll get an email sent to them where they'll then be able to pick their day, time, and location for their vaccine. So happy to report that in the very, very near future, those that aren't vaccinated will get vaccinated. I believe it begins within, I think it's somewhere around the 10th, which is, I'm probably off. But anyway, within a couple of days, they'll start opening up, and I believe runs to the 18th of March. So just wanted to announce that we won't need 2 waves. We're going to get everybody to be done in this next phase once the vaccine. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Gross. Dr. McMahon?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Behind Adam. Thanks for letting us come to the building. Nothing at this time. Okay. Mrs. Roswell?
I'm sorry, I have something really quick. Okay, I just wanted to share with everybody, we've been working with the PA Ready, the Future Ready PA Index. There's 2 different indicators, the Career Readiness Indicator, that's kind of a K-12 collaboration that we all work on. We have the Future Ready curriculum built, and we have had that built that covers that. But there's also an industry-based learning indicator that falls between the grades 7 to 12. Historically, in the past, we were able to have all of our students be first aid and CPR trained, and that met this indicator for the state. The state took away that option for that to count as the indicator for all students last year. So we have been building a new program, and Dr. Gross and Dr. McMahon have helped me and also put me in contact with some other people who have built this. So we are looking to build a career mentoring program for our students to in essence, job shadow with somebody sometime between their freshman and junior year of high school. More information will be coming to you all about it because obviously it's at the beginning stages, but we have kind of written that program out. And in the next couple months, I am probably looking to potentially propose a change to the graduation policy that would include both the career readiness indicator and the industry-based learning indicator so that we can kind of make sure that we're tracking and double tracking the students' progress on both of those goals. But the immediate piece that I just wanted you to be aware of is we are starting what we are calling a Career Awareness Program Day, so a CAP Day, that will be on April 13th this year. And there's different tasks or assessments that will be given for each grade level on that day. So 10th grader will be taking the PSAT 10 that day. The 11th grader will be taking the ASVAB assessment, and so on and so forth. Again, I will share all that information with you, but I wanted to give you all a heads up. So when you see a proposed graduation policy change, you understand kind of where that's coming from. But I, like I said, was able to work with Dr. Ghost and Dr. McMahon last week and wrap some of that up. So I will be getting all of that to you through them, hopefully by the end of this week, if not tomorrow.
Great. Are all the students still going to be CPR and first aid certified upon graduation, even though it's no longer the industry standard checkmark?
They all have the option to be first aid and CPR certified through their Health 9 class. So they are all still getting that instruction. Whether they want to pay the $3 to buy the card is their option now. It is their choice. So they will all be getting the training, but to get the actual certification, that'll be on a student-by-student choice basis. But that is still part of our Health 9 curriculum.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Rosemont. Dr. Glosser?
Just to add to what Mrs. Roswag indicated, the board was provided a summary of the pieces of evidence that needs to be collected as part of our Chapter 339 requirements. And that summary provides a review of what we are doing at each grade level to fulfill those compliance requirements. And all of that adds together to the culmination of what happens at the high school for this job shadowing and career mentoring program.
Thank you.
John, can I ask a question? Hey, are we using that Naviance program? I know that was
heavily
highly anticipated, and I just want to, I know gathering evidence and having a platform for that was really important, and I just wanted to make sure that we bought it. I just want to make sure we're using it.
Yes, when you get those emails from me later this week, it'll specifically say exactly what's being collected in Naviance, but that's starting as early as 3rd grade, the use of Naviance, and then it goes all the way up to the college applications now is going through the Naviance.
That was an investment.
Yep.
I'm glad it's helping.
Very useful.
The Naviance program not only collects it, but it has a lot of the activities and supports students in grades 3 through 12 with that.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes.
Mrs. Ferguson, we're making sure that everyone from 3 to 6 has all their requirements before they get to the secondary level, because we know that there are more, I guess, heavily involved requirements than at the early ages. So by the time they leave 6th grade, they'll have every requirement they need to enter 7th grade.
And that's all being run through our guidance counselors, you know.
And in the classroom, some of it's built into the curriculum in different classes at different levels, absolutely. But yes, the guidance counselors are tracking that
We have
Naviance
to
piece.
do it one way or the other, but having the right tool to support it is equally as important. So I'm glad that it's
Very helpful, extremely helpful.
Thank you. Sweeney?
The only thing that I'll mention is I'll probably be requesting a finance meeting in April. Nothing much, sadly, has changed, which is concerning. However, we can't delay the budget process because of that. So schedule a finance meeting probably prior to the work session, if that's acceptable, or the board meeting, not the work session. And at that time, then we'll pick up where we left off. But we haven't seen much change in cyber enrollments, which is the leading issue. We'll show the budget next year.
Thank you, Ms. Sweeney. So we'll play that by ear for April. Probably the second meeting.
Correct.
Mr. Morgan?
Just as you know, we have a published bid for our outsourced technology staff at this time due March 18th. So
Looking forward to see what we get back from that. And definitely, we get competitive bid, especially from our current provider. Recent staff surveys seem to indicate that they're very happy with the current team and their response times to bids and things like that. So it's really good.
Is the bid only for complete outsourcing?
I'm sorry.
Is the bid only for complete outsourcing?
Just for the staffing, yes. Those are technical things.
But there's no for like in-house, if we did it in-house? Right, but are we gonna have to compare it? Okay. That's the question.
Ms. Sweeney, could you repeat what you said? I guess apparently people can't really hear you.
She's not by my location. Yeah, there's a microphone.
So I'll be requesting a finance meeting in April. We need to pick up where we left off with the budget. We haven't seen much change in the expenditure side. The cyber charter enrollments have stayed consistent, and that will be one of the hurdles that we have to overcome building the budget for next year. We're hopeful that we might have some information on this new stimulus package. Haven't received anything as to amounts. Of course, it's not even passed yet. So they're usually pretty quick once that stuff goes through with notifying of us of any allocations, that hopefully that will provide some relief to the budget issues related to the cyber charter schools next year. So look for information on scheduling of the finance meeting in April, probably prior to the regular scheduled board meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Sweeney. Did I miss any administrators? I can't really see them.
You got us on. You got a little more?
All right. We'll have to board comment. Any board comment this evening?
I'll just finish my report from VOTEC from the beginning. We discussed, first I signed off on the savings of the bond issue. At first they estimated it was going to be 250,000, came in at 480,000.
Oh, wow.
Almost doubled what they had estimated whenever we started that process. And then during the meeting, we sent okay bids for a whole new phone system for the VOTEC. I mean, it's, you know, I don't understand technology, but a lot of it's wireless. There'll still be some wired circuits, but the phone system had been basically outdated for years, and it was time to get a whole new system. And then the other subject we discussed a lot about was, since we cannot carry a fund balance and capital projects, that $30,000 they talked about being in reserve really will not cover a major capital breakdown during the year that's unexpected. So, and we discussed trying to create a fund balance, but it would just take too much legal hurdles. So the simplest thing they discussed was that creating that reserve going from like 30,000 to like 120, 100,000, where it's, you know, you approve it, and you only get billed if we spend the money at the VOTEC. Otherwise, if something major comes up during the year, they have to go back to all 7 school districts and ask, hey, we need X amount of dollars for this unexpected expense. And also, they are going to get a 5-year kind of like capital expenditure plan from the maintenance department, like we have here. Hey, you know, hey, this is going to probably break within 5 years or 4 years, and actually put it into the budget for that year to be replaced. And again, if it's in the budget and it didn't break, you'd get the money back, you know, the following year and what money isn't spent. So that was another procedure that they may begin using, putting expenditures in the budget that will be expected to be used that year, but for some reason, if it isn't, to be returned to the school district, and then the following year, probably be another, being a budget line item again. So that was the extent of our meeting. It was a Zoom meeting. Nobody was, we were all talking from our computers at home. So, hopefully we will be back in person at some point. Hopefully in the next few months. And that's the extent of my report.
Thank you, Mr. Marburger. Any other board comments?
I have a really quick one, John. Sure. I just want to say congratulations again to the soccer teams. What an amazing accomplishment. And also it was just nice having the kids in here. Seeing the kids in here.
I'll second that. Congratulations to both teams. Amazing effort. And also thank you to our neighboring districts for allowing Mars to utilize some of their excess vaccination capacity. So that was fantastic. Very nice. Thank you.
Mrs. Roswag, I'm super excited about the idea of these kids job shadowing. There's so many great opportunities in this community. And welcome to Mrs. Spencer to the elementary school for the secretary position. And congrats to the soccer team, although I feel like we've said that now a couple weeks in a row.
Good luck to the basketball team too. They have the semifinal game tomorrow night.
For basketball.
Boys basketball is in the semifinal
Good
game.
luck. Tomorrow's game.
Any other board comments?
Yeah, this is Kevin. I'd like to thank the members of the association and board members last week for our 10-person meeting. It was a very productive session, and I just want to thank them for their time.
That's what I was board next to. I also thank you for them. It's a contracted statement thing, but it is good to get together with the association, just have an open conversation. So it's a good thing. Really good thing. Any other board comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Megan, so moved.
First.
Anthony, second.
Have a first and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great evening, everyone.